Yep.
Hey, Jonathan. Just getting the interface set up here. Okay, good. Um, for everybody watching, I'm working on the JavaScript calculator for freeCodeCamp. Um, this is my first time streaming, so if there's any issues with the audio, I've got some music playing in the background. Uh, if the music's too loud or you can't hear me or something, just say so in the chat and I'll tweak the settings. Also, if anybody wants to see the code that I'm working on in a full browser, I'm posting the link. Never mind, links are not allowed in the chat room. Good, thanks for the feedback, Jonathan. If links are not allowed, you can go to codepin.io/collinferry/pin/JXXRP, and I'll just paste that end alphabet. So you can build the URL yourself and open up the code and refresh if you care to see it bigger or look at something I'm not looking at. At the moment, this is what my calculator looks like. I kind of built it visually yesterday, but I'm still working on the JavaScript portion of it. So at the moment, I've got the calculator with a bunch of rows, each holding different buttons with the key labels on them. CSS, which is editing what it looks like, and then this JavaScript over here. Where I'm at currently, where I left this, is, let's see if I open up the console here. If I click the AC button, it will show clicked on the calculator screen. So I'm pretty stoked that I got that working yesterday. But what I used is this query selector code, which is looking for the term key. And I've, just as I got tired yesterday, realized that that is only going to work for the first time key appears in my HTML. So now I'm trying to figure out how to pass the values of the buttons that are clicked over to JavaScript. And this isn't something I've really done before. So right now, let's see. I do have, yeah, it does work for the first button. So and I've got this note for myself that I wrote yesterday. Um, yeah, it's just explaining what I just told you guys. Thank you for the compliment. Let's see. So to kind of get my head on here, because basically what my problem is I think I could make this work by creating a separate function for each button the way I have it, but that would just be really bloated. So kind of the way I'm thinking about this now is passing the value of each key pressed over to JavaScript, adding it onto a string, and then when the equals button is pressed, basically parsing out the integers and the symbols and then running the math of it and then returning the calculated value to the on-screen variable, which then should display on the screen. So I feel like, though this is a common thing I've learned with coding, and for the record, I just started freeCodeCamp about 5 weeks ago, and I don't really have any experience with JavaScript before this, so I'm spending a lot of time digging into stuff like Stack Overflow and all that. How to pass values from HTML to JavaScript button. So the suggestion is only got one upvote, but it's using document get element by ID. I just think that makes sense. You can use, let's see, so I'm using, all right. In my HTML, I'm using buttons with classes. This example is using input with a type of number, type equals number. So in my learning process, I do a lot of this kind of stuff where I read some possible code that would work, and then I break it into pieces. I've never used an input with a type of number before. So then I just Google that separately and see if I can kind of learn something new that would give me a clue as to a way to get things working right, or an explanation of why what I'm doing is totally failing. So here we see, okay, a control for entering a floating point number. And my concern here, and maybe I could have different buttons with different types, but my thinking is that they all need to be the same if I'm kind of sticking them all into a string or possibly an array. That's another solution I thought of, is just pushing each button value onto the end of an array, and then when the time comes, converting that into integers and operators. And part of me wants to just paste a bunch of functions and try to get it working and then go back and reduce the code. I don't really know what best practice is here. Oh, I can't remember if that was working. Key value 7. Yeah, another thing I was looking at yesterday is I have this button event listener. And I do believe that if I get the value to pass here, that value will go into the change screen function as this. And that's kind of something I was playing with yesterday. I never got it working, but looking at some other code, it looks like the value will pass as long as the... actually, maybe I can test that. I can just call this value equals AC, even though it's not something useful. Then when the button is clicked, we run this function. The variable called test should gain that value and print to the console. So let's... okay, that works. So I click AC. The value ascribed to this button is AC, and it got passed into the change screen function, which then printed on the console down here. So that's great. And you can also see that the on-screen variable changed to clicked. It's actually plus equals clicked. So if I continue clicking it, it'll just add clicked. And this is kind of where my thinking is with having it be a string where I can just plus equals new characters onto it, and it will just fill the screen as it would on a normal physical calculator. Though my clear button doesn't work, so I always keep wanting to click clear, but I just have to refresh the page. Okay. So basically I need query selector to work. For multiple buttons with the same class. Event listener for multiple buttons, the same class name. Okay. Nobody's helping this guy. Okay, maybe there is. What you're really looking for is a JavaScript event delegation. In your case, you have button elements, which are going to assume are button tags. Yes, it sounds like me. Now you want to know when one of those buttons is clicked and then run a function. Exactly. I'm not totally following this function. I'm guessing event is a identifier for I guess it's just a variable in the function, never mind. Anywhere on the page, the button class equals foo element appears. Clicking it or any HTML tag inside of it will run the do something function. I'm still not seeing if this will pass the value. Right now, that's the real catch for me. There seem to be tons of ways to get, you interact with a button or an input on HTML and you get something to happen on the JavaScript side, but I need to say like, hey, also look at the value ascribed to that HTML tag for the button that was pressed and then pass that value over to JavaScript. Looking at the chat for a second. Yeah, the music that I'm playing, Jonathan, is it's a non-copyright playlist on YouTube. It's not amazing music. I would love to just play my Spotify, but I also don't want to get freeCodeCamp in trouble. AJ is saying input type equals number seems more like a workaround. But you can also preset the value. Yeah, I agree that the number seems like a move-on. Yes, I'll grab a freeCodeCamp sticker at some point. Maybe after I get my dev certificate. But that's a robot, so it's not listening. If you attach a jQuery to all the buttons, will this be the button inside the function? Could you check the text on that to determine the action? This, as in the keyword this. If you attach the jQuery to all buttons. Oh, you cannot hear the music. Okay. Cool. Then I will Google what you're talking about. No copyright sounds. I thought I tested this a couple days ago and that in-browser music was playing fine, but maybe I just need to turn it up. I had the volume kind of down because I wanted to hear myself talk. Can you guys hear the music now? Okay, I'll close that. Okay. Sorry for anyone that's really wanting to see calculator stuff, and I'm sitting here trying to get the music running on OBS, but yeah, see, I've already clicked on this stuff. I thought I already, like I see the microphone when I'm not speaking, it's bouncing to the music. Barely. Well, I'm not sure if it's press on the settings. Let's see. Properties. That's fine. Device. No device is showing up. Jonathan Graham. I'm just going to call you John because you're being the most active in the chat room. So, yeah, no devices are showing up. I've not. What else is interesting is I did a test recording. It wasn't a test stream, and in the recording, the browser, the music playing via YouTube in the browser did record. If that gives you a clue, but yeah, I need a device to show up. Okay, well, my recommendation to anyone watching is to open your own Spotify or Pandora or YouTube channel and go to town with that. In fact, if the music's not working, I'll troubleshoot it later, but I don't want to waste anyone's time who's watching now and is trying to watch me fail at JavaScript. So I'm just going to play my own Spotify and not listen to this terrible YouTube list. Thank you for trying to help out there, Jonathan. Okay, back to this calculator. And Junicus is saying have a class calc button, then add that to all the buttons. And then if you do jQuery, would this be the button you attached? It might be. Let's give that a try. Because that would be awesome if that worked. Okay, so the idea here is to use what I believe would be a jQuery solution. Actually, I'm just going to change this to button because that's already the class that's on all the buttons. Would that be it? Console log this. Well, it did something. Log skip. Sorry, this log was too large for a console. You might need to use the browsers instead. And can't even seem to access. That's weird. So I've got my browsers, console open to see what will happen here. Oh, it might just be passing the entire. Am I reading this right? It's just passing. Yeah, I didn't actually. That arrow function isn't something I've ever used before. I see people use it to make code look nicer, but I guess in this case, how would it need to look? Just wanted an example of what the code should look like. Where did that go? Maybe if I start with a function, and then I can do something event specific. And I don't want to use an alert. Okay, that works with any button. Seems. Cool. Well, I've got something happening. I wonder, can we just reference like this dot value? Because that would be amazing. That's interesting. Oh, it's because when I was doing testing, holy shit, maybe this does work. I had the value all set to 7 because I was just copy pasting. All right, 7, 8, 9. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Thank you to Junicus for pointing me in the right direction there. That really helped out a lot. Let's see. I wish there was a way to see like if people are watching without reloading this. Okay, so yeah, there's like 20 of you semi-paying attention probably. Okay, cool. So what we've got now is a chunk of code here that is actually letting the value pass through. So I'm going to go through and ascribe or assign a value to each button so that we can play around with this more. I'm thinking that I won't necessarily need to really do much with a difference between the numbers and the operators on the button side of things. At least that's my hope, because I can parse those out later from the string or the array or whatever is determined to be the easiest way to do this. Three plus. Period 0 equals. I don't know what to do. This is this final button. In the initial example video here, whoops, close. No, don't load. You can see that the calculator in the example, the plus button, is actually twice as tall as the other buttons. And I like that idea from a design standpoint, but for now, I just have an extra kind of button here. For now, maybe I'll just treat it as another plus button. But I've got a lightning bolt. I didn't really know you could pull this off, but you can use Unicode to make icons display. So in this case, I've got this bit of code, ampersand hashtag 9889 is a lightning bolt. So I've got a lightning bolt button, and I think I might actually just leave it that way and make that be like a link back to my portfolio, because people will click it out of curiosity and then it'll go to my portfolio and they'll be like, huh, funny. So this value is, I guess those don't actually need values, the AC and the CE buttons, which I believe stand for all clear and clear entry, maybe. I know what they do on calculators, but I've never actually thought about what the letters mean. Okay, did I get everything? Dun, 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 dun. Yes, all values have been assigned. Okay, so now, let's see, what do I want to do when the button is clicked? And this might actually render this code unnecessary, which is cool. Happens to me a lot. So I've got this variable on screen, which is when the page loads, it's just an empty string, and this is kind of where I'm planning to dump each character. So in this case, maybe we say on screen plus equals this dot value, and then see what happens. And maybe we also need to rerun this code here, document.getElementById screen.innerHTML. Super useful. I learned how to use this in some of the earlier projects. For anyone that doesn't know, the way this code works is it's looking for an ID of screen. The JavaScript code is looking at the HTML. It looks for the ID labeled screen, which it finds here, ascribed to this div. And then the .inner HTML portion says anything that you make this code equal to will get pushed in between the opening and closing tags that have the ID of screen. So what's happening is it's basically putting a paragraph with a class of on-, which that's just referencing the CSS. plus the on-screen variable, which will be ever changing as each button is pressed, and then the closing paragraph tag. So if that runs each time a button is pressed, so we update the on-screen value, the on-screen variable, and then hopefully we print it to the screen. Let's see if anything happens. Oh my gosh, my calculator's starting to work. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 0, period, equals. This should be a plus. This lightning bolt is currently ascribed as a plus. Amazing. And then that's currently going to print AC and CE, but later we'll maybe make a separate function or something for those buttons to just clear what's on screen. Awesome progress. Okay, so I think the query selector event listener is no longer necessary, but I never want to totally delete code. But I also don't like just commenting it out and leaving it in the middle of the code I'm looking at, because it just clogs my brain up. So I just kind of dump it in a comment section at the bottom of the code so I don't have to see it. And this looks a lot cleaner than what I had, so yeah, it's awesome. Thanks again to Junicus for suggesting that. Okay. What do I want to work on now? I think I maybe want to go ahead and make the AC button work, because I can kind of see how to do that. So I think we'll just add a class here called AC. And then we can basically copy this. And my understanding is that anything with a $ in front of it is essentially jQuery. That's my naive perspective. I don't know if that's correct, but I kind of find myself mentally referring to like this jQuery. So if anyone can correct me on that or not, that's cool. Well, what did I just do? So in this case, we're going to write a little function that's specific for the all clear button. So I'm going to say when the .ac button is clicked to run this function, and in this case the on-screen value will just be set to a blank string again. And I guess we don't need this console log anymore because it's actually printing to the screen. So okay, so we got 7, 8, 9. Then we hit this. Boom. Awesome. So with that in mind, we can probably do the same thing for the CE button, giving it a yeah, I guess it doesn't need a value at all. That's just dead code. But it does need a class called CE. And we can do this again. When CE is clicked on screen, how do you remove the last character of a string? Splice or slice, I always get those messed up. Remove character from string, JavaScript. Replace. Okay, that's if you know the character. Remove last character. Yeah, chop slim, trim slice, blah blah blah. Let's see. Yeah, that makes sense. Make a substring. String dot substring 0, comma string dot length -1. Okay, so that makes sense. So you're taking you're making a substring starting from the character value of 0, which is the first one, and then running all the way to the one character less than the end. That makes perfect sense. So in this case, on screen is going to equal on screen, whoops, dot substring. Yeah, I think that would work. Let's try it. So if we do 7, 8, 9, hit C, the 9 should disappear. The 9 is not disappearing. What am I missing with substring? The slice syntax is much clearer. How does slice work? Probably the same way. That's one thing I need to do, is just go and rememorize. Like we live in this world where I can just quickly Google stuff, and I tend to rely on that. Beginning, end. That's just for an array, but you can probably use it on a string as well. Yeah. And slice and slice. Okay, yeah, negative, that's what I needed. Negative, I mean, it makes sense. A negative number begins counting from the end of the, so let's see if that does anything. Oh shit. That's awesome. Sorry for the profanity, if anyone cares. I guess I need to do something with that equals later. This is awesome. I've never been so excited about a calculator since I learned how to play games on my TI-83 back in high school. Okay. So we got the AC button and the CE button working. Let's see. I guess we need to write a function to convert this string that we're creating into an actual mathematical operation. So basically all of this stuff, with the exception of the equals key. So maybe the equals key will run a function, and that function will convert the string to a mathematical operation. Okay, so let's say function calculate. I don't know, normally I put the functions right under the variables, but I kind of have this desire to put things in the order they might actually be run. So I don't think it really matters in this case. If anyone knows otherwise, let me know. What are people saying? I wonder if I can just pull this chat out. Like that. Then I can do something fun. Not super useful. Yeah, I guess it's not. I don't want the chat on screen all the time. I know some people do that, but I'm on like a 13-inch MacBook, so I need my screen space. Let's see. See, is clear error. Yes, you see clear screen, yeah, or sets to 0. Yeah, I jump into the chat and I see you guys saying things that I could have seen like a couple minutes prior. Yeah, Leo, I hated that Spinal Tap. I remember doing that one, and there was something really painful about it. So I feel your pain. Fable, can you share the HTML and CSS, please? Yes, I can. I wish you could put a link in here. I guess Twitch is, they try to keep everybody on the site. So for Leo, or maybe you're talking to someone else. I don't know. Anyway, if you're talking to me, codepin.io/collinferry, COLLINFERRY/pin/ this series of letters. I wonder if I could just somehow remove this. Okay, damn it, I deleted that too. Yeah. Anyway, you can copy and paste that. You can copy and paste that code. I am now banned from my own chat room for like 10 minutes. Okay, so back to this. Function calculate. So when I kind of want to just go ahead and do this. So the equals button doesn't need a value. We'll give it a class of equals. And when equals is clicked, I guess I don't need a separate function. I just put the damn thing inside of here. On screen. All right. So I think the best thing to do might be to maybe push all the characters to an array. No. maybe loop through the characters of the string. If it's an integer, my brain's not grabbing this right away. There might be a cleaner way to do it too. Let's see. Let's see. This looks helpful. Huh, the eval function. What is this? Huh. Wow, this is exactly why I turn to Google before I start doing shit. Again, sorry for the profanity. There's an eval function that I had not heard of before that will accept a string, and it looks like it will turn a mathematical equation into its solution. Let's see. Yep. That's way easier than what I was thinking about doing. Eval. So just evaluate on screen. And we'll say solution. Oh wait, no. On screen equals the evaluation of on screen, which then should update. If that works, I'm blown away. 8 times 5. 40. Now for bonus points, can I then add plus 5 equals, oh my god. That was way too easy. But this is why we learn how to code, I guess, because sometimes you realize you're trying to build a calculator on a computer, and computers are really, really good at math. Okay. Man, that's awesome. God, it's so much easier than what I was going to do. But here's a problem. And I might just be okay with this, to be honest. So you notice, say I have the number 80. And then I add to it, 55. CE should clear all of 135. But right now, the way my code is, it's only deleting that last character. But I don't know if I care, simply because it's not going to hinder anyone. If anyone was actually using this calculator to perform math, it would, like if they hit CE, they would tend to clear the whole number, and they would just clear part of it, and they would just click it again. So it's a very small cost. I don't know if I feel like working around that. Yeah, I don't know if I feel like working around that. Okay, so what do I need to do still? Does my calculator work? I need to do something with this lightning bolt button, but that's about it. And I'm really happy with how much easier that was than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so I definitely don't need that junk code I put at the bottom anymore. We can clean that up a bit. The lightning bolt key. Let's add that a class of power. And if power is clicked, I want to open my portfolio in a new tab. I don't need JavaScript. This is old school. What am I doing? href equals where's my totally ugly portfolio that I have not even put any of my projects into debug mode. I tend to, when I'm creating links to my portfolio projects, I don't know if this is bad practice, but I tend to link to the debug page because you get rid of all the like CodePen stuff around it. But then at the same time, I understand that people want to see the code because that's what this is all about. But I guess in this case, they don't need to see the code. This is supposed to kind of act like a website. So, and you know, another thing I am weird about, I don't like putting full URLs in my code. Like if someone's viewing it, it just makes it look, I don't know, longer than it needs to. So I tend to convert URLs into like bit.ly links or something. So let's see how we're doing here. Calculator, dun, 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 dun. I haven't checked the modulus yet. Divided by, or modulus 3. Whoops. Well, it worked. But I need to, what is that for a link? Target equals blank, right? Let's try that. No, that wasn't it. Is it underscore blank or something? href, open new tab. Open like new tab. Yeah, I knew it. I shouldn't have even had to look. Underscore blank. Get it together, Colin. Okay. Oh, anyway, I was trying to check the modulus. Equals. Okay, so it works. Okay, good. Then lightning bolt opens my portfolio in a new tab. Sweet. I need to go ahead and put my projects in here. I need to make this look nicer too, but it's pretty much just naked bootstrap right now. Done with that, done with that. Close, close, close. This is my favorite part of coding, is closing all the tabs I don't need anymore. Don't need that, don't need that. What are we talking about in the chat? Do you need to display the character? Yeah, I guess I don't actually need to display the characters. That is something that's kind of non-calculator like, and I could change that. Though it does allow for an added functionality that you can't do with a calculator, because you can like click the minus button and then say, oh shoot, I meant to click plus, and you can do that. So I don't know. Do I want it to not show the character? Maybe I do. Let's just play with it. So if I remove the value from the plus, for instance, it should basically do that. 5 plus 5. Oh, actually, I think I need the character. I need... yeah, what am I thinking? I think I need the characters, or I would have to create multiple variables, and I'm kind of not feeling like doing that right now. Because what's on screen is the string that's being evaluated as a math equation. So it's doable, but I don't think I care. I get what you're saying, though. Let's see. There's something else somebody was saying. Call clear entry backspace and make a new CE button. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, caviar. That is a good solution to clear the last entry. Sup, Rith. Colin, why is your website off the grid? Because I'm currently in Utah. I'm in a cabin, actually, that's heated by solar panels and has a wood-burning stove. And I'm just out here I normally live in San Francisco, and I just wanted to get off the grid for a while. And part of that, I was thinking about doing some writing, and I had a blog up there, but I just spent almost 3 years working in marketing in San Francisco, and I didn't want the temptation to like try to rebuild my website and write blog posts about irrelevant things. And so I decided just to, when I decided I was going to go heads down mode and learn how to code, I just put my website offline, just so that if and when people do the usual kind of internet stalking, they'll see that. And I think it's kind of just like, it's true and it's honest, and I think it's a little bit interesting. And then anything I write, and I do a little bit of writing, I don't have to publish right away. So there is that. But if you're curious about, what my website will be like, later on, probably in May when I move back to San Francisco, you can follow me on Twitter or something. I'll be posting updates there when cool stuff happens. And thanks for the correction. Yeah, it is Colin with 2 L's. This is not a calculator. It doesn't work like a desk calculator, and that was the challenge. Yeah, let's see what the technical rules were. Don't look at the code. Okay, I did that. Fulfill the user stories. Can I add, subtract, multiply 2 numbers? Yes, I can, but I can't click these for some reason. Can I clear the input field with a clear button? Yes. I can keep chaining mathematical operations together until I hit the equal button, and the calculator will tell me what's correct. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I feel good about the functionality here, and I could make a fair argument that this has even added functionality. Because you can undo clicking operators, which is like unsending email or something. You can't do it on a desktop calculator. So my calculator is better than a desktop calculator. And if you click an operator and your cat jumps off the window and you look over and you're like, damn it, did I click the plus? I'm in the middle of this huge operation. You can see a visual indicator that you clicked the plus. So it's better than a desktop calculator. But chaining operations together means displaying the operator keys. I don't think it actually does. I think that's just my solution. I think chaining together means you could do 5 times 5 and it would show 25, and then you do times 5 and it would show 125. So that would be chaining together. But I can also do, if I do like 5 times 8 equals 40, and then I want to add some number to that arbitrarily, I can continue chaining as much as I want. So one thing I don't know is what happens if like the number gets super huge. It'll probably start to like drip into the calculators. Yeah, it just like starts going off the screen. So let's see, what if we did like 9 times 9 times 9 times 9? Where are we at now? It will never switch to what am I saying? It'll never switch to an exponent. I don't think, unless something's built into the eval function that I'm using to calculate this. Okay, it does. That's awesome. So I'm going to be saved by the size of numbers that computers can handle, and it will still look okay in the calculator. Cool. Super cool. Well, let me jump into the freeCodeCamp live stream. If anyone else wants to stream, I'm happy to go on to the next challenge, but I'm also happy to take a break. And this is, I guess it was like half loaded or something. Come on. freeCodeCamp, live coding. Let's see. I don't even know how long I've been doing this. Twitch, freeCodeCamp. Can you even see how long you've been streaming? I guess not. I'm just getting myself on a delay. Is there a way I can message you and talk about going off the grid stuff? Yeah, feel free. if it's long messages and you want to really chat about it, you can shoot me an email. It's just my first name dot last name at gmail.com, colin.ferry at gmail. Um, I'm putting a lot of time into coding and part-time snowboarding and stuff, so I'm probably not going to want to spend tons and tons of time, writing a novel about this kind of stuff, but I'll give you short answers to any questions you've got. You can also tweet to me, which is just at Colin Ferry with two L's, COLLIN, and ferry spelled like the boat. Twitch, I just create. I mean, you could probably use Twitch messaging as well. This is Colin. Like, somebody already stole my name on Twitch, and I didn't have a Twitch account when I started this stream, so I just used my regular gamer fallback, which is Lost Gambit. You can shoot me a message here, but I don't really I've never really used Twitch until today, so I would say Twitter is probably the best way. I'm spending more time on Twitter these days because I'm kind of digging into tech and seeing what other people think is interesting and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but feel free to shoot me a message. If you like off the grid outdoorsy stuff, you can also follow me on Instagram, which is also at Colin Ferry. I post a lot of photos from traveling and hiking and that kind of stuff. All right. Been live for 1 hour, 12 minutes. Okay. Cool, you can just do uptime. That's awesome. Thank you to the robot. I think, it's like 75 minutes. That's good enough. That's good enough for me. I feel like doing some stretching and some kettlebell swings or something, because I've been sitting here at my table for too long. So I will say farewell to the calculator. Thank you all for watching. If you have any criticisms, if there's anything I did terribly wrong on this stream, this is my first stream. So if you have any feedback or ways I can make it better or more interesting or more educational or whatever, I do plan to continue doing this because I had fun, and I think talking through the code helps me become better as well, and that's kind of the goal here. So yeah, hit me up with feedback, and I will see you guys another time. Adios.